Welcome back to another episode of how to piss everybody on the internet off really quickly. Today we're going to be talking about boost control, how it works, the different methods of it, and how you should actually be doing it on your Juke MR16DDT turbo car. So let's start talking about how boost is controlled on a turbocharged vehicle. The turbocharger is spun up by exhaust gases, so your boost is determined by how much exhaust gases go over the turbine blade and spin the blade in the compressor. So to make less boost, you slow down the spinning of the turbocharger. So to do that, you need to run less exhaust gases. So what you do is you actually bypass some of those exhaust gases away from the turbocharger. The MR16DDT does that with what's called an internal wastegate actuator. This piece here actually gets boost pressure fed to it. When it hits a certain amount, there's a spring inside that will start to compress, and that allows this actuator to open. When that opens or pushes, this flap opens and actually lets hot exhaust gases go from the turbo manifold right into the exhaust system instead of going into the turbo. That slows down the turbocharger and that reduces the amount of boost. If you were to seal this up and you were to just go full throttle, the turbo would just spin until it couldn't spin any faster and you can only make so much boost. So that's how boost control systems work. On a big turbo car or an aftermarket turbo kit, you usually use an external wastegate, which is basically this actuator inside of a housing with this valve all in one piece. But we're not worried about that right now. So how does the Juke boost control system work, or the MR16DDT boost control system work? It has an electronic valve that operates off duty cycle. And what is duty cycle? For simplicity's sake, it's basically an on-off switch over and over and over again that opens and closes the valve very, very fast. So as your turbo is spooling up, say you want to make 16 pounds of boost, you change the duty cycle and that increases your boost level. And that's all done in boost maps and tables and stuff in the tune. I'm not going to get into any of that because most of you won't be messing with that. So that boost solenoid. I have heard a lot of people say that the boost solenoid is junk, the wastegate actuator is junk, blah blah blah. I have built quite a few of these. I have tuned several of them. I've brought several of them to tuners. Not once have we had a problem with the wastegate actuator itself. We did 210 all-wheel horsepower on one Juke, totally flat boost curve. The boost stayed steady. We didn't have any tapering. We didn't have anything. It really all comes down to how you adjust the boost map. There's products out there to replace these wastegate actuators. There's products out here to replace the boost control solenoids. You don't need them. You don't. If your tuner is saying, hey, we got to change your wastegate actuator, you might want to look into finding a new tuner. There's a lot of people in Australia where the tuners are like, oh, I can't get the boost to level off, I can't get it to do this, can't get it to do that. I'm not sure why they're having that problem. Me and several other tuners that I work with have never had a problem getting the boost to stay stable with the factory wastegate actuator and the factory boost control solenoid. I don't understand why people have problems with that. It might be a lack of understanding in the software, it might be a lack of understanding of how the software affects the actual mechanical device. But if somebody's trying to sell you a wastegate actuator, you really don't need it. You just don't. The factory wastegate actuator has a 10-pound spring in it. That's the base. These aftermarket ones are 14. That's the only difference. Is the aftermarket ones use a different spring rate. That's it. That's the only difference. Now let's talk about something that a lot of you asked me about, and that is these guys right here. This is a manual boost controller. This particular one is a Go Fast Bits mechanical manual boost controller. Other name for this is a bleed valve. And why is it called that? Now, as I said, air goes into the wastegate actuator and pushes down in the spring, and that's what opens it up. What this does is reduce the amount of air that gets to the spring, and in doing so, it increases your boost, so it takes longer for that spring to open. So basically you're taking a 10 psi of air pressure, and in this, you're reducing it out this other side to 7 psi. So as it's coming out of this side, the spring's not going to open until that spring sees 10. So on this side, if you get to 14 psi, now it's seeing the 10 on this side that it takes to open it. So your car is running 14 psi and the wastegate thinks that you're only running 10. It's a mechanical operation. These are very, 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 I have to tell you, very, very bad for the factory turbo system, and especially if you don't have an actual tune. If you want to put one of these on your car and you want to go get your car tuned, that's fine. It will work fine. You do not put a boost control system on your car and increase boost without a tune. You don't do it. It's very bad. Your car's fuel maps and timing maps and cam phasing maps are all set up for the factory boost level. The second you start throwing more boost at it, those maps aren't accurate anymore. And all it takes is one instance of knock and you've blown your motor up. That's it. Not to mention, just throwing one of these on and throwing 4 more pounds of boost at your engine isn't going to give you a lot of horsepower. As I just said, your timing and your fuel maps and your cam phasing maps are set up for the factory boost. You throw more boost pressure at it, it's going to compensate backwards thinking that there's a problem. So you might only gain 10 extra horsepower for 4 pounds of boost, which is not a lot. That's not how it's supposed to work. Every increase in a pound of boost, you should be getting like 10 horsepower. So 4 psi should be 40 horsepower. It's kind of the rough way it's supposed to work at sea level. These are not good for the factory car. Get your car tuned if you want to increase boost. That's it. So I want to hear from you guys. Are you guys running manual boost controllers? Do you have it tuned to increase boost, or are you just flying by the seat of your pants and threw one of these bad boys in there to see what would happen? So let me know in the comments. And as always, hit that subscribe button, the bell icon so you know when we upload things, and you have a great day. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Make sure you go check out the new website we have up, thefastreligion.com. You can get all kinds of merch, decals, and you can also read more about the builds we're doing. In the meantime, why don't you check out these other cool videos that we have going on, and make sure you hit that subscribe button.